Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for taking time out of your very busy schedules to be with us here today at a session of the Business Partnership for Market Readiness. The B-PMR is an initiative led by a business group, IETA, the International Emissions Trading Association. Why would a business group take the time out of making money to come to Korea to spend time with you to talk about the important topic of emissions trading? I think the reason for that is that the members of IETA and the members of its B-PMR believe that we're going to be working on this issue together as a global business community for a very long time. The problem of climate change is not one that we solve in 5 years or 10 years. It's actually one that we work on for many decades. Korea has stepped into a leadership role on climate change. And I have to say, my background was that I started out as a government official working for President Clinton back in another century. And then I went into the business community to work on climate change projects. I worked in a carbon fund from London. And one of the first places that I came to look for CDM projects was here in Korea. Some of our very first deals were here in Korea. Why was that? Even then, Korean companies were stepping into the lead. They saw economic opportunity. They saw the opportunity to be leaders on a global stage. And they actually helped make the CDM a success by getting out with some good early examples. So I'm very pleased to be coming back in my new role as head of IETA. I've been in this role for about 3 years, and this is my second visit to Korea as the head of IETA. We believe that Korea is very important because it's the first national market in Asia. It's the first market that could set the trend for something that others in Asia follow and work with you, again, for many years to come. So it's a very exciting market for us in IETA because we see the prospects of it sending a signal for others across the region. Korea has now 3 things that it's known for in climate change on the global stage that give you a reputation that's far above others. One is that you're the host of the Green Climate Fund now. It's going to be the center of green investment globally for public finance around the developing world. The second thing is that you have the Global Green Growth Institute here that's promoting the policy side of excellence in carbon management. And the third is the emissions trading program that I hope that you're all a part of. I really appreciated Mr. Park's opening remarks about the government's outlook on this from the Ministry of Environment, and I should say a big thank you to you and the ministry for partnering with us on this event. But the thing he said that's very important that I recognize from my days in government is, from the government's perspective, all that matters is that the environmental targets are hit, that the environmental targets are met, that Korea lives up to its international commitments to reduce emissions. But for businesses, that's just the beginning of the story, because businesses need to manage the costs well. Businesses need for the emissions market to work. They need for the market to be efficient, for it to be successful in launching climate finance throughout the economy. Businesses need the market to be liquid. So for businesses, the emissions target is the beginning, but that's just not all of the story. We really need to work together to make it work. So the good news is that there are markets around the world that you can learn from if you choose to. And I think it's a great opportunity to be here today to learn from experts, not just from the EU ETS, which is the largest market to date, but also from other important markets. We have experts today who have been active in the early stage markets in Australia, markets in California, markets in Canada, and we also have a special delegation with us from Taiwan that's also exploring its own approach on this. And we're very delighted that the Taiwanese delegation could be here. So you have an incredible opportunity to learn lessons of how emissions trading and emission pricing policies have worked in practice in other jurisdictions, to draw lessons that could be valuable for making Korea's market work well for business. I also think that you're lucky in that the IETA team that's here is one that has done training missions like this, not only in Korea, because we were here about a year ago, but also we have spent a good bit of attention in other emission markets that are emerging, notably in the China pilots. So the team that's with you today has experience in talking with professionals in Shanghai and in Beijing and Guangdong and Shenzhen and Tianjin. And in addition to that, also our teams have gone out to brief officials in Mexico City and in Johannesburg, South Africa, where tax and offset programs have been emerging. So there's a great wealth of talent here, and I hope that you're able to learn lessons and share experiences, and hopefully to forge some business ties so that we can work together in years to come. Just a word about IETA, because I hope that some of the Korean companies here take a look at IETA as a group you'd like to be affiliated with going forward. And here's why. We are the main global professional body that works in emissions trading all over the world. We work on it at the UN level, we work on it with national governments wherever it's emerging, and our goal is to make sure that there is a professional class of experts involved in emissions markets that can be the core that takes this whole movement forward in the years to come. Again, we're delighted to be here. We think we've got things to share that could be valuable to you, but we also recognize that you have some things to teach us as we try to learn more about the Korean experience and the directions that Korea will go in the future in its own emissions market journey. I want to thank you for taking the time out today, and I also want to encourage you to come back tomorrow, because tomorrow we will have an opportunity to look into a little more in depth what's gone on what is going on at the UN level in the road to Paris this year, to learn a little bit more about the China experiences, and delve into some more issues regarding the Korean market. So it's not just today, it's tomorrow, and I really look forward to getting some time to speak with you on the edges of this conference over the 2 days. Thank you very much.